We have some movies that we saw this weekend that we're going to spoiler-free review for you, including King of Kings. Yes. I'm one of those $19 million that went to see a movie about the life and death of Jesus Christ himself, told through the words of Charles Dickens and told through a really pretty animated movie. Not going to lie.
You're not going to do a spoiler-full review of the story of Jesus Christ?
Yeah, I guess that's true. Similar to Titanic, Jack doesn't make it in the end.
Yeah. No, Jesus!
But does he come back?
He comes back, and then that's the end of the movie.
Oh, wow.
That's it. He comes back, he grabs the hand of the little boy, and then it's gone.
For the sequel, you know.
I guess there has to be a sequel. I will say it's a very interesting tale. Not a lot of humor in this movie. And
it's not a feel-good.
And I got to say, some of the voice acting is excellent. Some of the voice acting, if I had to guess, they didn't have Uma Thurman for a long time in the studio because everything she said was just, are you in the same movie as everyone else, Uma? And she plays a pretty pivotal role.
Is Uma married?
Wow. Huh?
Is she married?
Mary has 0 lines. Mary might have 3 lines in the whole movie.
Oh, wow.
Uma is Charles Dickens' wife. You see, Charles Dickens is telling the story of Jesus to his young son. Right. The beginning of this movie makes no sense. How they're in the predicament that they're in doesn't matter. Once we get to Jesus, the movie's actually really fun. And it's really pretty. I have to say, it is a very pretty, very lovely animated movie.
I actually also thought that the animation looked really amazing from the trailer. It's one of the things that kind of made me curious about it.
It really does. The only thing that didn't really make a lot of sense is why is Jesus' neck so thin? Because no other neck looks like that out of any of the apostles, any of the movies. But we go through everything, man. If you want to learn about Jesus Christ and the story of Jesus told through a very interesting lens, they go through it all.
Birth to death?
Birth to death.
To resurrection.
From the manger to the death to the resurrection to the evil kings that are trying to destroy him. They go through how when he's a baby, the original king, wherever they are, Nazareth or whatever, wants to literally end the life of every child 2 years and under so they can get the king that is promised, Jesus Christ. It gets scary at times.
My God.
It really does.
Well, answer me this in a spoiler-free way. On a scale of 1 to 10 on the anti-Semitism scale, where do we fall?
No comment. Go see King of Kings.
Wait, is there any mention of him being Jewish?
No comment.
No
Go see King of Kings. Yeah, it's a quick movie. There are some slow moments. There are some miracles that you see, water into wine, multiplying of food, all that stuff. And it gets really dark in the end. He does not make it. They show the whole crucifixion. So if your kid is not, able to handle that stuff, I fully understand keeping it away.
They're nailing him to the cross. They're throwing shit at him.
It's the full crucifixion.
He's bleeding.
You don't see blood. But pretty much everything else. Throwing a crown happens.
That thin of a neck, you probably doesn't have much blood.
Happens, and it's like genuinely scary. But it is a kid's movie, I guess. Now, are you guys surprised that this thing made $19 million over the weekend?
Incredibly.
Yeah.
I haven't been this surprised since Snow White made less than $50 million. Yeah.
Made nothing.
I'm not surprised. I'm the one who took the over, baby.
Yeah, I guess
took
so.
the over. 6 and 3.
God, you're right.
6 and 3, 5 and 3, 3 and 5. You are a mess, Kellerman. You got to come back on the board this week.
I'm really doing bad.
Now, hold on. That's not even close to the records, but he is 6 and 3. I am 5 and 4. Kellerman, you are 3 and 6.
Hey, even worse.
Yeah, it's not great. But again, Alche and I do have a winning record. We will be again predicting the domestic opening weekend of Sinners in just a little bit. But before we get there, we didn't see the drop. We didn't see the amateur. But Kellerman, you did see Warfare. Yeah. I have my thoughts on it because I saw it as well. I would love to hear you because I kind of agree with what you said in the little video you did on our socials. You can see that recap.
You've now seen 3 movies in the last 3 weeks in theaters. I feel like that's more than you've seen in the last 10 years.
I wouldn't say 10 years, but yeah, I've battled back. I've battled my anxiety. We're back in theaters. We're rolling.
I think we really appreciate your commitment to the show. Thank you so much.
But Warfare.
I may not win the battle as far as our over-under predictions, but I am going to win the war of our entire fantasy movie league. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And speaking of war,
great nonsense.
I saw Warfare this weekend.
Excellent.
And I thought it was absolutely incredible.
Wow.
I'm not a huge war film fan.
Mm-hmm. You're a pacifist.
But I do, the greats are great. Saving Private Ryan.
Sure.
I think we can all agree on certain war movies that just can touch anybody. Mm-hmm. This movie impressed me in multiple ways, not just because I enjoyed it and it's a war movie, but how visceral the story was and how it affected me with so little setup in the beginning truly blew my mind. How connected I felt to the characters with such minimal character development in the beginning. Really incredible. And I attribute that to the actors and the directing.
Wow.
It really affected me, Kellerman. I agree with you on that. If I had to use one word to describe this movie, it would be sad. There is a general tenor of really depressing things going on in this movie. And Alche, I remember what you said last week when we were talking jokingly about would you rather see Warfare, The Drop, or Amateur. You said you've gotten to a point in your life where you kind of need escapism more than you need realism when it comes to your movie viewing. This is an extremely real movie.
Super real.
And there are
almost too real at times.
Wonderful cinematography, wonderful use of audio on what these characters can or can't hear after these gunshots and explosions are going on around them. And as Kellerman said, a really simple premise. We're in real time. We don't have a lot of settings. We're really in one house as this group of SEALs, Marines, gets attacked by outside forces. But my favorite part of this movie coming out of it as a whole is I think they did an excellent job of sending a message about the war in Iraq without sending a message. Like, you leave this movie really feeling the weight of everything that happened there. And also, doesn't matter how you feel about this country over the past 20 years, I think we all leave that movie thinking nothing good happened. And it really sits with you. And I thought it was an excellent job making that movie, commending them for telling that story. Even if you write down on paper, not a lot happens. Like, it's not like a Black Hawk Down where they have to go from here to there to there to there. It just is such a gritty experience.
Because that's what I thought it was going into it. I thought we were going to see some kind of incredible journey, some kind of mission. But the mission that they're on gets stopped immediately, and it just becomes a survival story.
Yeah.
And I only agree with you 90%. While obviously a lot of the events are very sad, I found a lot of comfort in the brotherhood and the no man left behind attitude of it, but the larger existential dread of, because it really, even though it's a personal story of someone who survived an event in the war, it really does a good job of painting the broader picture of how everything works within our military system, especially overseas, and in very small ways that add up to a much bigger picture that makes us realize how difficult those situations can be, how difficult a situation is if you have a broken leg or something and you can't, like, think about it, you just can't go to the hospital. You have to wait for a medic to come to you, or you have to get to a medic by traversing a war zone. And those are the small little things that are detailed in the movie that you don't really often see get pinpointed in war films, that I thought they just did such a good job of those little details that make up the bigger picture.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, I didn't see The Drop, because I had family in town, but I am looking forward to seeing it. I am going to see this movie. I'm absolutely going to see this movie. And it's getting good reviews, shockingly. It's getting good reviews.
It is.
Producer TJ's putting 2 thumbs up.
Our buddy TJ saw it. He really liked it.
However, no one else is seeing it.
No, it's not doing well.
As you noticed, of the 3, it was number 3.
Yeah, let's talk about that, actually, because King of Kings came in number 2 at the box office this weekend after Minecraft.
It went Minecraft, King of Kings.
Domestically. King of Kings has yet to open up internationally.
Correct.
It went Minecraft, King of Kings, The Amateur, Warfare, and then The Drop.
The big drop to the drop.
Drop barely made more than Dogman, and Dogman's been out since January. But yeah, there's a lot of movies coming out. I'm really happy I saw Warfare. I do highly recommend it if you are into that type of a movie, because again, I think it gets my favorite part of it is that it is a true story, and it's I guess co-directed by the guy who experienced all this stuff. And my favorite part of that is he doesn't try to make himself the hero or the protagonist of the story. It's a very, at least from what we can tell, true telling of the events that went on in there. And Kellerman's absolutely right in the horrors that it shows there. But it is a fantastic flick, no matter how gritty and true it is.